Hi, everyone, and a warm welcome to today's info session on Target Gender Equality. We are thrilled that you're considering this journey with us. And yeah, very, very happy to have you join us and take time to learn more about the program. We'll just give it a couple of more minutes for more of you to come in before we get started. Thank you for your patience. Okay, again, see more and more of you are coming in. Thank you and a warm welcome for today's info session on Target Gender Equality. We're thrilled that you're considering this journey with us. And yeah, taking time today, wherever you are, whatever time you're sitting in, to learn about this program. My name is Sama. I am a senior manager at the UN Global Compact, where I'm leading the Target Gender Equality program. And it is my pleasure today to be walking you through our program and its structure and its various offerings. I see that more and more of you are joining, but for the interest of time, I'll get going as more of you hopefully also join us. So before we begin, maybe a few housekeeping items. A quick note on language. We're very pleased today to inform you that interpretation is available throughout the session in Chinese, French, and Russian. You can select your preferred language by clicking on the globe icon at the bottom of your Zoom screen. We do want everyone to feel comfortable and included, so please do take a moment to set that up. I'll also try to speak slowly to make sure that our translators are able to capture my words soundly. For today's session, you can also use the Q&A tab. I'll be monitoring it throughout the session, but we will also reserve time at the end to raise and answer all your questions. The chat will be closed, but I'll be using it to share with you some key links and relevant information relating to the program. So you're also welcome to keep an eye on that. Finally, the session is recorded, and the recording of this session will be shared with you. And all of you who signed up via the Zoom link for today's info session on Target Gender Equality. And it will also be shared to you by our marketing team as a follow-up. With that, I'm very happy again to be speaking to you as program manager of Target Gender Equality about our program, and hopefully spark some interest in some of you to join us. But I'm very happy not to be speaking about Target Gender Equality alone today. I would first like to introduce our speakers who are also bringing their own perspective and supporting the program. First, we have Maya from UN Women. Maya, you work at the Women Empowerment Principles Secretariat. As many of you may know, the Women Empowerment Principles are a set of principles that guide businesses on how to promote gender equality and women empowerment in the workplace, marketplace, and community. Target Gender Equality is grounded in these principles, and our partnership with UN Women really helps bringing them to life through practical guidance and collaboration. So Maya, you'll be speaking to us about why the Women Empowerment Principles are essential and how they connect to the work that prospective participants may be doing in the accelerator. Hi, Maya. If there's anything you'd like to say to our audience today.
I just want to thank you so much for having me here today, and I'm really excited for everyone to learn more about Target Gender Equality and the Women's Empowerment Principles.
Thank you, Maya. We're excited as well. We're also joined by Mrs. Xing Yang from WuXi Biologics. Mrs. Yang, you're a past participant in the program from the previous cohort, And I'm very, very excited to hear your insights as a participant from engaging in Target Gender Equality. Welcome, Mrs. Yang.
Hi, and hi everyone. I really appreciate this opportunity for us to share our experiences and learnings in the previous program. Thank you.
Thank you both. So just before we get started, I know few of you are not part of the Global Compact. And it is definitely a requirement to join the UN Global Compact to be part of the Target Gender Equality Accelerator. So I just want to say a couple of words about the UN Global Compact. Who are we? We are an initiative that was created by Kofi Annan in the year of 2000 in order to bridge the gap between the UN and the private sector. 20 years later, or 25 years later, actually, we're celebrating our 25th birthday this year. We are the world's largest corporate sustainability initiative with over 25,000 companies and in more than 160 countries. So if in order to be eligible for this initiative, you may consider joining the UN Global Compact. The process for that is pretty simple. If you go to our webpage, it will be explained with a lot of details. You'll have to look at the application guidelines. The first thing would be to draft a letter of commitment that commits your company to the principles of the Global Compact around human rights, labor, environment, and anti-corruption. We know that for some of you, it might take a while for your companies to join. So please feel free to flag it to us via the TGE email if your application is in progress or if you need us to speed it up to take part of the program. And I will promptly share those links in the chat. Okay, so a quick look at what we'll cover today. We will start with introductions, and we've already done. I'll be handing it over soon to Maya on behalf of UN Women to talk about why gender equality remains the unfinished business of our time and how the WEPs, the Women Empowerment Principles, provide a strong foundation for the work that you'll be doing on this topic via Target Gender Equality. Then I'll be walking you through Target Gender Equality. What is it, what to expect, and how it can benefit your company. We'll follow that with insight reflections from Mrs. Yang. And finally, we'll close with a Q&A to address any questions. And without further ado, I'm really happy to hand it over to Maya to get us started.
Thank you so much, Salma, for that wonderful introduction. So globally, gender equality really remains an unfinished goal. Women continue to face significant barriers, including accessing education, healthcare, economic independence, and women also remain unrepresented in leadership roles. And only 15% of the UN Sustainable Development Goal number 5 indicators are on track to meet the 2030 targets. So at the current pace, it will take us nearly 300 years to achieve full gender equality. So here's some statistic that we pulled out just to signify the importance of advancing on gender equality. So the digital gender gap is currently at 2.6 billion people who are still offline, and most of them are women and girls. And only 25% or only 25 countries have a woman head of state, and just 5% of CEOs globally are women. And 1 in 3 women globally experience gender-based violence in their lifetime. And every 10 minutes, a woman is killed by an intimate partner or family member. And for labor market participation, we're also miles behind. Only 63% of women are in the labor force compared to 92% of men from the ages of 25 to 54. So these are just some of the alarming statistics just to show you how gender inequality imposes significant social and economic cost to society, and the opportunity costs of inactions are very high. So the private sector actually holds a lot of power to make gender equality a lived reality for women and girls worldwide, as the employer of 90% of the workforce and driver of 80% of the global procurement. The path to gender equality, it's both urgent and achievable, but it requires both bold leadership and collective action. We need to leverage frameworks like the WEPs and the TGE and commit to sustained efforts. And not only can you do so by aligning with the global sustainability goals, but you also inspire transformative change for those around you. So why should you as a company representatives consider embedding gender equality into your business activities? For us, there are 6 key drivers that you should consider. So governments are increasingly introducing regulations such as mandatory pay transparency, gender diversity quotas, and corporate due diligence regulations. So proactive companies like yourselves could prepare early to meet or exceed these legal requirements. And there's also an increasing numbers of investors that are prioritizing ESG criteria. So ESG aligned investment funds normally ask companies to disclose and improve on their gender equality performance. We also seen how research has shown us that gender diverse companies perform better financially. So for instance, McKinsey found that companies in the top quartile for gender diversity on executive teams, they were actually 25% more likely to have an above average profitability. And then we have the new generation, such as millennials and Gen Zs, who are growing share of the workforce, and they're actively seeking employees that value gender equality. And we also have diverse teams bringing broader perspectives, leading to more innovative solutions and better decision-making in your companies. So study by the Boston Consulting Group have actually shown that companies with higher diversity levels generate 19% more revenue from innovation. And consumers are increasingly value-driven, as we've seen. So brands that are actually perceived as equitable and socially responsible enjoy greater customer loyalty and also stronger reputation. So at the same time, we're aware that many companies are unclear on how to concretely advance on these issues through gender-responsive corporate governance, workplace policies and practices, and also engagement with suppliers and local community members. So that's why we have nearly 11,000 companies across the world who are using the WEPs as the blueprint to position gender equality at the core of their business strategy and operations. And this is a very effective way of advancing on gender equality. So our key message today is really that gender equality is not just a societal issue, but it's also a smart business strategy leading to improved business outcomes as well. So now we come to the WEPs. It provides a blueprint for companies to advance on gender equality and women's empowerment in the governance, leadership, workplace, marketplace, community, and also within transparency and accountability. And as I said before, we have nearly 11,000 CEOs across 190 countries that have embraced the WEPs as this guiding framework to drive impact and change within their companies and beyond. So the WEPs provide this roadmap for implementing Sustainable Development Goal number 5, and companies join to make a public commitment to advance gender equality and women's empowerment on the global platform. So as you can see here on the screen, Principle 1 is about high-level corporate leadership. So it builds a foundation for the WEPs implementation since it requires the CEO's commitment. So throughout the years, we really witnessed what a difference this makes when the CEO has made the commitment themselves. In fact, WEP signatories outperform their competitors on 12 key gender performance indicators, and it also helps sustaining efforts and fosters accountability as well. Principles 2, 3, and 4 focuses on the workplace. So Principle 2 is really about treating all women and men fairly at work without discrimination. It's not about treating one better than the other, and it encompasses actions such as equal pay for equal work, fostering inclusive workplace culture, and also removing gender-based discrimination from all policies and practices. Principle 2 is about health, safety, and well-being of all workers. And employees really play a key role in preserving and promoting the physical and emotional health and well-being of their employees. So some of the actions here can include to ensure all employees equal access to health insurance, including part-time workers, and also support services for survivors of violence and harassment. So principle 4 is about education and training for career advancement. And education and training can really open venues for women's advancements at all levels and across all business areas, as well as training for all staff on gender-based violence and harassment as well. And principle 5 is about enterprise development, supply chain, and marketing practices, where companies can influence the wider business ecosystems through inclusive supply chain practices and standards. And we really encourage WEP signatories to promote gender equality and WEPs in the supply chain. And principle 6 is about community initiatives and advocacy. Here we really encourage companies to invest in community development programs to make valuable, effective, and responsible contributions to gender equality and women's empowerment throughout their communities. And principle 7 is the last of our principles, but it's equally important. It's about measuring and reporting mechanisms that are crucial to monitor and track performance of your progress. And that's it for our 7 principles. You can learn more about them on weps.org. What you can see here is the WEPs journey. And the first stage is really to consider this can take a while, and that's okay because the decision has to be well grounded within the entire company. And it's really about embarking on this journey, and it doesn't end at the signing stage. We have a lot of tools that can help you on your journey. We have case studies, templates, thematic guides, and learning modules, and all of this is available at weps.org as well. And with that, I would really like to thank everyone who's made the WEPs commitment and encourage those of you who are yet to do so to sign on to the WEPs. So together we can create a future where gender equality drives both business success and societal progress. So now it's really the time to act, and we look forward to seeing all of you making this commitment. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Maya. Yes, for this insightful overview and for this great call to action. And I think we're very proud also for seeing Target Gender Equality as one among the many call to actions that companies can take in operationalizing their commitments to the women empowerment principles. So, and we're very happy to be collaborating with UN Women's and have your expertise to ensure that the WEPs are not only principles, but also a practical framework for driving real change. So with that, I'll now take a few more minutes to walk you through the Target Gender Equality Accelerator. What is it, how it works, and how your company can get involved. Next slide, please. Yes. So what is Target Gender Equality? Target Gender Equality is a 6-month Women Empowerment Principle activation program. It is a UN Global Compact program that supports companies, members of the Global Compact, in analyzing their current performance and adopting a structured, ambitious approach to advancing gender equality in the world of work. The program, among many things, provides companies with the expertise to navigate gender equality regulations, the knowledge and strategies to build internal buy-in and drive commitment to gender equality across the organization. We also provide insights into emerging or under-the-radar gender equality topics, but also, and crucially, the program is an opportunity to get exposed to practical tools and best practices to measure and address gender equality gaps within your organization. For the past 5 years, as I mentioned, the program has been offered exclusively to UN Global Compact participants. The delivery is blended, meaning that some global elements are there, but most of the learning and engagement happens at the local level through our participating country networks. One of the core strengths of the program is in its delivery model, because we know that gender equality is not a one-size-fits-all model. So the social, legal, and economic dynamics that shape women's experiences might vary from country to country. So by delivering our program locally, companies are able to engage with content, peers, and facilitators that reflect their context, making the experience more relevant and impactful, hopefully. Now, next slide, please. In terms of where is it that Target Gender Equality Accelerator is being delivered, could I have the next slide, please? Yes, thank you. In terms of where is it that TGE is being delivered, Target Gender Equality is delivered in over 40 countries through the UN Global Compact Network. If your company operates in a country where a country TGE track is available, and you can see the list here, you'll be supported directly by your representative at that level. If your country network is currently not offering TGE, if you don't see your country in the list, it's okay. There are still many options, as we offer regional tracks, and such as the Francophone Africa track, the Africa English track, the Asia track. But there is also a global track that is open to all companies which are not covered by a local country program. The global track is virtual and places are limited, so access is often granted on a first-come, first-served basis. If you're unsure which track applies to you, or if you're considering the global track, please feel free to reach out to me or to your country network for further guidance. And I have already pasted our email in the chat. Next slide, please. The timeline of the program. So the program opens, or company registration opens on 12th of March and will remain open until the 30th of May. Between June and September, participating companies will be receiving their onboarding package and the full program details and materials. Delivery then begins and continues through the second half of the year. That said, exact timings might slightly differ depending on your country. And again, this is one of the strengths of the program, that we try to be as flexible as possible to accommodate the various geographies. So you'll get more intel on those details as part of your onboarding package. But we know that oftentimes most of the delivery takes place between September and February. And you might have heard that this program used to run over 9 months. We've now refined it into a focused 6-month experience based on feedback from past participants that they told us they wanted a format that maintains depth, but also allows them to stay engaged and move more quickly from learning to action. We hope that the new structure does exactly that in terms of being time conscious, but at the same time impactful. Next slide, please. Now I will speak briefly about who participated in the program. And next slide, please. We know this is a question that companies are very interested in knowing. Who was there in the past? And the short answer is, it is a big mix of companies. We've had participation from multinational companies, but also large companies, and increasingly more and more SMEs are taking part of this initiative. In terms of previous engagement on the topic of gender equality, we've also had companies join with various levels. They might have already signed the WEPs and have a policy in place. But we also have had engagement with companies which were newer to the topic, and where they sought to use the program as an opportunity to structure newly built efforts around gender equality. So the program, and I'll get much more into its content now, is really built in a way that hopefully services the needs of different companies, be it for companies interested in building a new foundation, understanding the women empowerment principles based on good practice, or be it with an interest in fine-tuning some of their existing work or enhancing maybe some of their KPIs around gender equality. So maybe a few more words on who the target companies are. In order to be able to qualify for the Target Gender Equality Program, you have to be a UN Global Compact participant. You may join at any stage. If you are, you could be a WEP signatory in the sense that it will be highly relevant for you to potentially operationalize that commitment and move to action. You could also be a non-signatory who's curious to understand the WEPs, and you will strongly be encouraged to sign throughout this process. You have to be a business participant. We do have other programming at the UN Global Compact for non-businesses, and we strongly encourage you to explore these by checking in with your country network representative. So, few more words now about what the program looks like in practice. And here I'll be talking about the journey. So through Target Gender Equality, we support companies in translating the women empowerment principles into concrete actions. As you see on this graph, we've designed this program as a journey towards real, measurable progress on gender equality. It starts with a welcome session where we introduce you to the program and introduce your ambassador to the program, but you also get to meet fellow participants. Next, you're also exposed to the Women Empowerment Principle 101 session that is organized by UN Women. And here you'll be hearing more about the principles themselves and and understanding more the benefits of joining. So at that time, you might have the opportunity to make the formal start of your commitment to advancing gender equality if you have not done yet. Once that is done, you will be completing the Women Empowerment Principle Assessment Tool. That is a tool that will help you identify gaps in your current practices. You will then be reflecting on those results with support from ambassadors who will guide you through this critical self-reflection process. During this stage, you'll also have access to a series of foundational knowledge videos covering key topics that will inform your next steps. We hope that with this understanding, will help you develop policies and action plan tailored to your company's needs. For those in countries where your network might be active, you may receive specific tailored guidance and on-the-ground support to accompany your journey. Finally, there are, of course, plenty of opportunities to showcase your progress, whether it is in the closing session of the program or at major global platforms and offerings that we have at the UN Global Compact, such as the Leader Summit and other gender engagement opportunities. So in a nutshell, and as you can see here, the journey is truly designed to keep you moving forward with practical, tailored support every step of the way. Now, next slide, please. To speak about the delivery channel, we really want our delivery methods to be flexible, interactive, so that it offers you various ways to engage with the program. The foundation of our learning experience is our e-learning content that is available on the Academy, which is our dedicated learning platform for our members at the Global Compact. The on-demand content is available to you at any time, so you can progress through the material at your pace and convenience. In addition to the e-learning, we offer global and local live sessions where you'll have the opportunity to connect with peers, share experiences, and learn directly from experts in the field. We're really excited this year to feature a global session on critical, very relevant themes, such as the EU regulation. How do we ensure that gender equality is at the heart of stakeholder engagement? We'll also have a session around gender-based violence and grievance mechanisms, but also supporting you on your equal pay journey. We hope that these high-level expert sessions will provide you with valuable insights and practical tools to support your gender equality efforts. But on the sides to these global sessions, we also have the more local sessions that are really an opportunity to to have more of an interactive workshop. They're delivered at the country level, and they really focus on your advancement in the Women Empowerment Principle operationalization. So here you'll be analyzing your WEP results, you'll be reflecting on your own challenges as a company, and hopefully getting peer support, but also expert support to addressing them. Finally, a key component of Target Gender Equality is the individual assignments. Those are designed to encourage reflection and really help you apply the learning to your company's own specific gender equality journey. As part of the program, there are 2 mandatory components that are individual assignments. These are the self-assessment tool that you have to fill in the beginning of the journey, and then the action plan. The action plan is there to guide you in taking concrete steps towards making significant improvements. With that, I hope this gives you a bit more of a flavor of what Target Gender Equality looks like. But now I would like to speak about who would be a good participant for Target Gender Equality. Could I have the next slide, please? Yes. So participants for Target Gender Equality, each participating company should nominate 2 representatives to join the program. The previous round, they have often come from sustainability, diversity and inclusion, human resources, or communication. It is valuable to involve someone from the procurement or supply chain to broaden the scope and impact of your company's gender equality efforts. And we can, of course, hopefully guide you in that process. You're always welcome to get in touch with your country network if you have any doubt about who would be a good representative for Target Gender Equality. But then another key stakeholders that you've probably heard me mention by now are ambassadors. Ambassadors are key to the success of the program. These are high-level representatives, ideally a C-suite level representative or someone with a direct reporting line to the CEO. We know that in smaller organizations, it might be the CEO themselves. And here, the expectation is that they follow the process, that they should be actively involved, conduct regular check-ins, especially before conducting the gap analysis, and also afterwards, when we can share with them the results of the analysis. And of course, through Target Gender Equality, we will be giving you guidance as to how and when to engage with your ambassador. What we know from experience is that involving your ambassador from the beginning really helps accelerate the progress. Target Gender Equality, in that sense, can be a useful program for your companies to perhaps shed light on this topic, but also advocate internally and make some visibility for this area in your organization. In terms of time commitment, I know this is a question we always get. Each participant is expected, or what we have assessed so far is that there's around 40 hours throughout the program, throughout the 6 months of the program, that go to training, workshops, resource engagement, and action plan development. For the ambassador, of course, the time commitment is much lower, between 3 to 4 hours. This includes their involvement in check-ins and potentially supporting the development of the action plan. So a question I also get asked a lot, next slide please, is what has Target Gender Equality achieved so far? Next slide please. And what I want to share with you today is really the feedback from the survey that we have conducted last year, from the last round, where we really see some truly encouraging results. We have seen that through Target Gender Equality, the organizational maturity on gender equality has significantly improved. Companies often report an established, or in our last survey, companies reported an established level of maturity increase from 25% to 31%, showing more companies are integrating gender equality in their key processes and tracking progress. We also saw that the program has had consistent high satisfaction and engagement. For last year, for example, 95% of our participants would recommend Target Gender Equality to others. But what we also find interesting is the data at the bottom here, that 84% of our participants have either already acted or are actively working on aligning their gender equality strategies with the priorities derived from the gender gap analysis tool. So meaning that, and again, going back to the overall goal of the program, which is really to help structure your thinking around gender equality, where to start. We're really pleased to see that 84% of our companies find the program useful in terms of guiding their direction. We also have heard that 63% of you now rely on the Women Empowerment Principle gender gap analysis to inform their priorities on gender equality. So really, again, helping companies moving from an ad hoc approach to a structured, risk-based approach to looking at gender equality. Next slide, please. And again, since its launch, Target Gender Equality has grown significantly, and we're very proud of that, engaging hundreds of companies across 42 networks. With strong adoption year over year, we have seen various companies from a variety of industries and regions actively committing to the program. This proven record, with over 7,400 participants engaged today, shows that the program is a trusted and effective program. And we really hope that it can help you take further steps towards gender equality. But next slide, please. But I've talked a lot about Target Gender Equality, but I think it's always important to remember, why is it that we're talking about this? What do these actions on Target Gender Equality really mean for your businesses, but also for the reality on the ground? What it means is the opportunity to comply with evolving legal and regulatory requirements, a step further towards closing the gender gap, be it by increasing participation at the top, be it by putting in place grievance mechanisms, engaging male, plenty of opportunities that are captured under this program. But then, of course, we know that once you get a step closer to these actions, the business returns are strong in terms of improved employee morale, sustainable supply chain, innovation and creativity, and enhanced talent acquisition and retention. With that, next slide, please. To say a few words about how to sign up. Next slide, please. As I have said, you have to join the UN Global Compact. Then you may want to appoint 2 worker-level representatives and a high-level ambassador. And finally, you complete the form, which is on our webpage, and that I will link right away. And perhaps there is no better way to speak about the value of our program than hearing directly from one of our previous participants. So I'm very excited to hand over to Ms. Yang from WuXi Biologics to share her experience and insights with us today.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Salma, for your introduction. Before sharing our learning and experiences from the TG Accelerator, I would like to give a brief introduction on our company first. Next page, please. WuXi Biologics is a leading global contract research, development, and manufacturing organization. Our company offers end-to-end solutions that enable partners to discover, develop, and manufacture biologics from concept to commercialization. Next page, please. We have over 12,000 skilled employees in China, the United States, Ireland, Germany, and Singapore. Our mission is to accelerate and transform the discovery, development, and manufacturing of biologics to enable our global partners and benefit patients worldwide. Next page, please. Yeah, as a participant in the UNGC since 2023, our company engaged in the TGE Accelerator for the first time last year. This was also our initial encounter with the women's empowerment principles, including the WEPs tool, which provided us with a comprehensive understanding of gender equality and also enabled us to effectively analyze our internal activities. Through this WEPs assessment, which covers various aspects, we identified gaps that we hadn't fully considered before and discovered opportunities to better align our actions with our goals. Although understanding the questionnaire really took time, but it proved to be a worthwhile effort that leads to a deeper and broader understanding of gender equality. Through mapping our own initiatives regarding the diverse topics and our ongoing communication, our colleagues involved became more aware of this topic and recognized the value of their roles in promoting gender equality. Additionally, previous page, please. And additionally, we also had the opportunity to expand our network of allies within our company. So after utilizing these tools and understanding the concept, our company has committed to the women's empowerment principles to further enhance gender equality. Okay, next page, please. Apart from our efforts with WEPs, I also had the opportunity to participate in a series of insightful workshops during this program, both online and offline. These workshops addressed a variety of practical topics, including formulating policies, setting KPIs, tracking progress, and initiating new strategies. And the major learning experience I had is with the UNGC Academy. This platform offers numerous live sessions led by global experts, along with many e-learning tools. There are many crucial topics covered, such as the unconscious bias, equal pay for equal work, and impact measurement. Through this series of lectures, I got valuable insights from experts across different organizations and first-hand experiences from other companies. So in addition to these global sessions and e-learning opportunities, I also attended many local sessions as well. Next page, please. One of the most impactful lessons I learned came from a local session on the module for HR policy and practice. It highlighted the importance of using gender-inclusive language and encouraged everyone to think carefully about their words and their effects. Language shapes our cultural and social attitudes. By adopting gender-inclusive language, we can actively fight gender bias and prevent the perpetuation of stereotypes. It is also important to realize that promoting gender equality doesn't always have to launching large-scale projects. We can begin with small, meaningful changes in the language we use in our communication. It not only raises our awareness, but also sets a standard for respect and equality in every interaction, both within and outside our organization. Another impressive workshop I attended focused on the module of setting organizational targets. This included a CEO roundtable discussion on innovative strategy for setting targets and empowering women. This event was a fantastic opportunity to learn from other companies. For instance, one initiative discussed was a program designed to support women in their transition back to work after maternity leave. Another focus was on empowering women in creative and tech fields by fostering inclusive environments. Moreover, the importance of involving men as allies was also emphasized, as participation from all stakeholders could significantly boost the effectiveness of these initiatives. These discussions also served as a reminder that advancing gender equality requires innovative thinking and collaborative efforts. Next page, please. In our company, we believe that a diverse and inclusive workforce is essential for fostering new ideas and solutions which could make positive impacts on our clients and patients worldwide. We have committed to providing an equal and inclusive environment for talents with different backgrounds and enabling every employee to reach their full potential. To uphold this commitment, we have established a comprehensive DEI ecosystem, including a global DEI committee, a global DEI task force, and local DEI communities. We have set clear targets for female representation in our company, and by 2024, our female employees make up 54% of our workforce, and women held 46% of management positions. Next page, please. A highlight of our efforts is the Women in STEM program, which is dedicated to empowering women in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And by the end of 2024, women occupied 54% of the STEM roles at the WuXi Biologics. And beyond our internal initiatives, we also extend these efforts to our local community. Through educational programs, practical experience sharing, and mentorship, we will motivate the next generation to pursue education and careers in STEM fields. Looking ahead, we will leverage insights from the TGE program to refine our initiatives and continuously enhance gender equality across our global operations. So next page. And in the end, last year, I spent an average of 1 to 2 hours weekly to complete the courses during the TGE learning journey. And of course, we invested extra time to deeply explore and discuss the application of our learnings. And this year, we will continue our participation in this program with my colleagues from different departments. Gender equality requires ongoing efforts. And by staying involved, we hope to keep up with the latest trends and tools. More importantly, it provides us with valuable opportunities to learn from and exchange experiences with other companies. So, I encourage other companies to join this initiative. Participating in such program not only enhances your understanding, but also contributes to a broader movement towards gender equality. And together, we can make a significant impact and drive positive change in our industries and communities. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Young. And this was really insightful for me. It's absolutely fantastic to hear that the program was so useful to your company, and really pleased to be hearing about all these practical aspects that you also took forward. So looking forward to following the journey of WuXi Biologics in the future on this topic. And with that, I can have the next slide, please. It is perhaps time to also take questions. I see there's a few questions on the chat that I've already answered. But also if there's any question to Ms. Young, I think now is a good time. Not a better person to speak about the program than a previous participant, I believe. So feel free to also tap your questions now. I know Ms. Young will need to potentially leave. So if there's any question, now is a good time. Otherwise, we'll always make sure to follow up with your questions. And we will also, what I will also do, because I've seen there's a few questions around the Women Empowerment Principle. So I will be shortly hyperlinking the website of the Women Empowerment Principles, but and pasting it in the chat. But with that, there were a few questions that I kept open because I thought we could address jointly. There was a question around whether the program helps companies structure their DEI efforts. I understand that there's been some rolling back of DEI action for certain companies. Thank you for this amazing question. Yes. So as part of Target Gender Equality, and especially for this round, we are really looking at broadening sort of the focus, trying to have an intersectional lens, but also really thinking about how can the program be relevant to the landscape of today, which is, and I think Maya presented it quite well in the beginning, sadly, pretty bleak when it comes to gender equality. So we will, for example, have a session that looks at backlash. How do you navigate fostering gender equality in an environment of backlash, which I think will be quite relevant. There will also be a bit of a broader focus in some of the sessions where we'll be looking at gender equality sort of more broadly. So yes, hopefully we'll be doing that. Yes, there was also a question around C-suite level ambassadors, or whether it is a requirement that they participate, because we know that this could be a challenge. Yes, absolutely. We know that it could be a challenge to have C-suite level ambassadors participate, but in reality, what we have also seen, and this is again data speaking, that companies which engage their ambassadors are the ones that are the likeliest to make progress on gender equality. So we really, really would encourage you to think of Target Gender Equality as a program that can help you move the needle also on this topic, and maybe build the buy-in. I mean, there's a lot of, as I mentioned, visibility opportunities within the program. So that could also be of interest, of course, to high-level management to be part of such an initiative. So if the program could be used for that end, we think there's really like a strong value add in engaging a C-level ambassador. Of course, if you don't manage, I mean, if you don't manage to get C-suite level, that we can always make exceptions, and you're always welcome to get in touch with your country network. But I do would encourage all of you to nominate the C-level ambassador. There's a question from Mrs. Young, actually, if you're still with us. Ms. Young, if you could share more, what is the financial business benefits from participating in this program for you as a company?
Hi, Sama, and hi, everyone. I'm still here. Yeah, this is a great question, and I should take some time to think about it. To be honest, it is not easy to really quantify the business benefits of participating in such program. But to be honest, our company, including our management leadership, all believe that this kind of efforts put into gender equality will deeply benefit our business. For example, it's fostering generation of new ideas, and also it is good to our reputation. It is good to our employees. We will have a better and more valued employees. So in general, we believe this will have a long-term benefits to our business. Yeah, and also our employees.
Thank you, Ms. Young. And maybe just to add from my end, I mean, there are countless research that underscore the business case for gender equality. I think if you look at like gender equality, even versus, other social aspects, I think where there's strong evidence of business case is actually on gender equality. Again, I mentioned few of them earlier. We talked a bit about retention, creativity. How do you make sure that potentially your product if your product is gender responsive, you're likelier, of course, to access markets. So yeah, there's plenty of research that looks into that. I'm happy to also circulate some of that in the follow-up to our participants. Thank you, Ms. Young. Yes, there was a question around being a nonprofit and whether you're eligible for this opportunity. So we do have plenty of offerings for nonprofit as part of the Global Compact. We would really encourage you to get in touch with your country network for more information on this. But as Target Gender Equality is designed, it is designed as a program to help businesses move the needle on this topic. So you have to be a business in order to be eligible for this opportunity. There was also a really interesting question around the WEPs and whether you have to be a WEP signatory to join Target Gender Equality, and what you would get out of it if you're not. And here, maybe just to clarify, you don't have to be a WEP signatory to join Target Gender Equality, but we strongly encourage you to sign and commit to the WEPs. If you're not, if you have not signed the WEPs, there will be plenty of opportunities through Target Gender Equality to get familiar with the women empowerment principles. Will also will be mandatory for you to join the 101 Women Empowerment Principles session to get familiar with the WEPs, and hopefully we will also be guiding you towards that end. But we know that in reality, sometimes that kind of commitment can also take time, and it might be easier to move the needle on select actions as you operationalize your commitment on the WEPs. But yeah, that's basically the approach. And there was a question around what if we don't know if our company has signed the Women Empowerment Principles? Maya, is there a way of checking, I believe, on the website, right? If your company has signed the WEPs?
Yes, thank you so much, Salma. You can just go to our website, weps.org, and then you click companies and you can search for your name. I can also link it here in the chat for you. And I also wanted to say that WEPs is unfortunately not available for government entities or NGOs or nonprofits. So it's only for-profit, officially registered companies that can join the WEPs. But there are many other ways to engage, as Salma said as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Maya. Yes, I believe I've answered a few questions here. Have the date of the live sessions been confirmed? That's a great question. I would strongly encourage you to get in touch with your country network because they're the ones who schedule the live sessions. And we really try as much as possible, again, to be flexible, being mindful of the various calendars of different geographies. So, so you might want to reach out to your country network representative on that. Yeah, I think I've covered most of these questions. There's also, maybe just to share, we have an FAQ that also addresses all these questions that I will just paste right away in the chat. And we also have a brochure that explains the program in detail. And you will receive all of them in the follow-up along with the recording. And I think with that, I will thank you all for your time. And yeah, and looking forward to hopefully having many of you engage with us. If there's any more questions that I have not answered today, please feel free to write to Target Gender Equality at unglobalcompact.org or get in touch with your country network representative. And a huge thanks to Maya again for joining us today, and really, really excited to be working with UN Women on this program. Thank you, and also huge thanks to Ms. Young for sharing the experience of your company, and a huge thanks to our interpreters and all our team supporting in the back. And have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye, everyone.